dropped everything I've touched today. So not long ago, I decided that the brakes needed to be done on the Daily DeathTrap. I don't know nothing about changing no brakes. So that means I need to call Joe. Would you be willing to come help me do my brakes? And by help me, I mean, I'll watch you do it. He knew that. It's what good friends are made of. Now follow my train of thought here because it doesn't go straight. Considering what all's got to be done to get the front brakes changed, you're only one step away from pulling the spindle and dropping in say, a drop spindle. And if you're gonna go that far, you're only one step away from replacing the factory coils with some drop coil springs. Of course, then you've got to go through the process of leveling the truck out, but that's okay, I can take care of that part. Joe can help me. So I got on the phone with Bell Tech. I said I'm looking for a 3-3 drop. Somehow I ended up ordering a 5-5 drop with an extra 1-inch block so that it could be a 5-4 drop. And the reason is the 5-5 drop comes with the spacer on top of the 3-inch drop coil spring, which would make it a 2-inch drop coil spring plus the 2-inch spindle gives you 4 inches of drop. So realistically, that gave me every combination of 5-5, 4-4, 5-4, 4-5, you get the point. We'll talk about the problems that came with all of that in a future video. But for now, let's get this truck dropped, see what she looks like. Now understand, this is not a how-to channel and you're not gonna get step-by-step instructions, but we will try to give you some useful information on the way. It's almost like I live on a dirt road, ain't it?
Yeah, you know, it happens. That's what takes the longest.
Cleaning it up.
Getting the dirt off so you can see what's going on. The top one is a 7/8, and the bottom one is the 15/16, just enough to confuse you. The two bottom mount bolts on the shocks are 1/2 inch, and on the top shock mount it's 9/16. I've had them so tough before, I've had to actually get in there and cut them off. So typically, when I was talking about this area here gets so rusted that when you try to take that nut off, it's froze up, and this whole shaft in the shock turns. So there's a couple things you can do. What I did was went in between the coil spring and got the vice grips and grabbed onto here so we could take the nut off. Now you only want to do that if you're going to throw the shock away. Because if you're going to save the shock, you don't want to, because you might mar this nice smooth area and it'll tear the seal up in the shock. The other thing that they designed is on the top, if you notice, it's got a couple flat areas, and you can get a, I think it's 3/16 or maybe a 5/16 open end on that to hold it, but then you have to use an open end wrench to take that nut off. It makes it kind of tough to do that, but seeing as how we're going to throw these away, we did it that way. So, washer right there. Kind of good stuff to hang on to.
Yay! Look at that, I'm right back to holding a flashlight for my dad again.
Yeah, holding it where you can see it.
Not where he can see it.
Yeah, I got my butt kind of, well, I won't say I got my butt wet, but after he got done talking to me, I felt like it was.
What was the tie rod in? What size is that?
3/4.
All right. All right, so what's going on here is we were originally just going to pull the whole spindle off because everything's going to get replaced anyway, until we got to the point that the spindle was loose and ready to come off and the dust plate was hanging up on the A-arms. So we're going to have to go ahead and pull everything apart anyway, and then we can replace the spindle. And by we, I mean Joe.
What I'm taking off now is the sway bar to the lower control arm bolt. So the lower control arm can swing down, hopefully out of the way, to get the coil spring out.
Nice.
But as we know, at the wrong way garage, things don't always go to plan.
Ain't that a fact?
Sometimes you'll find things that aren't quite right.
It's usually because the last person that did the job was someone like me that didn't know exactly what they were doing.
Now that's nice and tight now. Don't ever want brake lines to be wiggling. They definitely will wear.
That's the only size Ziploc bag I got, though.
I like to just put a Ziploc bag over, just so we don't get
trash in it.
yeah, don't get all that nice dirt in there. Fold it up out of the way.
I can't see it, so.
Come on down. Don't want to get any dirt in my eyes.
I imagine so after 4 eye surgeries.
Well, that's only one, you know, one eye.
That's only one eyeball, though.
Hey.
You make it sound like we're going to need 4 more surgeries, another eyeball. Was that a dirt dauber nest?
Yeah.
There we go.
I think that rubber got blown out.
Just a little bit. Alright, while Joe's cleaning up the front end of the truck to get ready to put it back together, I can get started on the rear end. Should have laid something down to catch all that oil, but so be it. Oh yeah, that'll work. We need to get these shocks disconnected. Half-inch bolt for the top sockets. It might be a 13, I don't know, but a half-inch works. So that's what we're going with. And once, ow, son of a, that hurt. That's gonna bleed. 7/8 fits loosely.
Try this.
I got it broke loose now, it's okay. Now I first thought all these bolts were metric, but every time I take a bolt loose, Joe starts cleaning that spot. I don't know if it's OCD or just a desire to do it right. At least I got it loose. One shock removed. Turns out most of these bolts on the rear end are 13/16. They just had mud and rust and what have you built on it, but as soon as Joe cleaned it up, we found the right size. My original plan was to cut these U-bolts, but the threads don't seem to be all rusted up. They're just dirty. So we're gonna go ahead and try to save those. I'm not sure why, but we're gonna save them. Let go. There we go. good. Well, ain't that some crap?
Problem?
Oh yeah,
What's the matter?
major problem.
Don't tell me, trying to get the bowl out hitting the frame.
Oh no, it's worse than that. It's hitting a fuel tank.
Thought, can you cut it off and then, has it got new bolts you can put it the other way?
So the bolt that goes here off the stupid truck is not needed on the stupid truck for obvious reasons. So we're going to use that bolt to replace this bolt, which unfortunately means I've got to cut this bolt off right next to the fuel tank. Put that on so we don't mess up the threads. Now these springs are marked. Which end goes to the front of the vehicle and which end does not. Well, the front end's marked, the rear end obviously is not. Alright, I messed up. Go ahead and bring it up. Alright, so I should have put this end in first because the other end has a shackle which swings, and as long as this one's in the right spot, which it has to be, then the shackle can meet the other end. But because I threw that bolt in first, I need you to take your hammer on this spot right above your spring and drive that puppy backwards some so that I can meet the hole, because it's not quite there. Come on. You're about ½ inch away. Realistically, I should have loosened the bolt on the shackle on the frame. That's what I should have done. But you got any leverage to do that with? Ah, yeah, you do. Come on with it. There you go. Come on. Hold up. Give me your hammer. Thank you. All right. There we go. Boom. These are Beltec blocks, and I know they're aluminum. I will tighten them up later in life. Don't give me any crap about using aluminum blocks, not steel blocks. Now these have the 2-degree angle on them, and according to Beltec, the thick side of the, where's my finger? There it is. The thick side of the block goes to the front of the vehicle. So the thin side of the block goes to the rear. Now, these are brand new leaf springs from Beltec, and they've got paint on them. So, nah. All right, a little more, a little more. Come on, one more. Done. Now,
What you might have to do is get yours in, get the U-bolts on, because
Yeah.
this one's gonna have to slide over.
Yeah, well, this one's gonna have to come my direction, or the whole rear end's got to come my direction.
Same way here.
All right. There you go. Give me a little more. All right, hold up. Give me just a little bit of pressure. Come on with it. All right, it slipped in. Come on. That's as far as we're gonna get. There we go. Hey, that one came out easier than the other side now.
Come on. Come on up. So I'm bring it up enough to get the nut started. Down. Come on down. There you go. You could pull it out. So as long as you get it tightened up and line up the hole on the castle nut, then you're good to go. Usually these lowering shocks are a little bit bigger in diameter.
If I'd have been smart, I'd have cleaned the rest of that up before you got started. But that requires me to be smart, or at least smarter. Ooh, shiny.
This is a good old school way of packing wheel bearings. Put it in your palm of your hand, you move it around, kind of like you're scooping ice cream.
Hey, I know all about that.
And you see where it's starting to come out of the bearing, you know that the bearing's full.
Now I realize we skipped over a whole bunch of stuff in reference to spindle replacement, but this project took an entire day's worth of labor, and multiple days if you count everything in upcoming videos. So that being said, Joe did an awesome job of explaining to me and the viewer everything he was doing as he was doing it. So if you'd be interested in a video like that that's more in-depth about spindle replacement, please let me know in the comments so I can put the video together. You got to understand that video is probably going to be considerably longer than this one, and it's probably not going to be all that exciting. Then again, mechanic work isn't all that exciting anyway. It's rewarding, but not exciting. Let's get this truck on the ground and see what she looks like. absolutely beautiful. Except for the fact that you gotta have new tires. Because that ain't gonna work. And we might need to pull the 1-inch blocks out of the back and put the 2-inch blocks in and give it a 4 or 5 drop. That sucks. When everything was said and done, we found out that the rear end sat too high, the front end sat too low. So we're going to split the difference. I ended up putting the 2-inch blocks with the 1-inch blocks to give it 3 inches of drop. And as soon as I get the tires and rims off this stupid truck on this truck, then we'll be able to drive it and go get some proper size tires put on the rims to go back on this truck. All right, got the tires and rims off the stupid truck, put on the DeathTrap. Hopefully, by the time we get the front end lifted up an inch, it'll level it out. So, we'll see what happens. Of course, first, we got to get new tires on the original rims because those rims are not staying on this truck. Hey, get your thumb off the keyboard. We'll take care of those bump stops in a future video. Now, obviously, this truck cannot stay that low. I mean, I live on a dirt road. And the first time I left the house, it looked like somebody took a box blade to my driveway. But I got to deal with it for at least 5 days because it's a daily driver. And I got to drive it daily. So I have to wait till the following weekend to do the additional work. Besides, Joe's out of town between now and then, and I'd really like him to help me.